stuff. Alright, Wizardry 8. Do I have to watch Wizardry 1 through 7 to know what's going on here?
Today, I'll be breaking away from tradition. I'll be covering some old-ass game that's probably very obscure, long, frustrating, dehumanizing, but also very fun. Ask yourself, have you ever wanted to experience the role-playing equivalent of poisoning yourself repeatedly?
I am afflicted.
For many weeks.
I got dibs on his stuff.
Until you gradually build up a tolerance for self-inflicted pain and suffering. You see, much like eating a bag of raw potatoes, do it in one go and you might die, but do it gradually and you might live. Keep at it and you might just start enjoying it. I present to you Wizardry 8, released in 2001 by the Canadian government. Wizardry 8 is one of the finest torture devices to be released on the personal computer. Wizardry 8 takes place in the Dragon Ball Z extended universe. You and your party are space-traveling aliens hired by the Wookiees to retrieve all 3 remaining Dragon Balls, the Astral Domine, the Chaos Malari, and the Destiny Dominus, and use them to ascend as literal gods and reshape the universe. Ascension takes place on a planet called Dominus. Unfortunately, the process of ascension has been complicated by the involvement of a dark savant, who,
is this Wizardry 8?
Is Space Hitler, setting up an interplanetary anti-Semitic blockade around Dominus. Unfortunately, your ship bears the Mark of David and is quickly shot out of the sky, forcing you to make a crash landing. All things considered, that's not too bad. Except, Space Hitler has also rigged the planet with a nuclear payload that is large enough to glass the entire surface, in case anyone who isn't Space Hitler tries to ascend. I hope you're following all this, because this is just the intro. And now I'm gonna quickly summarize the plot to help you understand how amazing this game is. Space Hitler is not very popular. As a result, he loses the only Dragon Ball he has to the Italian Mafia, because he neglected to pay their godfather, Don Barlone. By the way, the Italian Mafia in this game is composed of rats and speak in an Italian-American accent.
Me? I'm always in top form, not just
Their voice
ratkin.
acting.
Razooka, pal! Yeah, the Order of Tar. You might consider us a family of sorts.
Don Barlone switches out the Astral Domine with a shiny salt lick. The melanated master finds out and has an autistic tantrum in front of you. You'll come to find this is a common theme. You take the imitation and buy the real thing. It costs most of your life savings, so instead of paying, you might try and whack him instead. Luckily, the best tricks are so nice that they work twice. First, you gotta get chummy with the Umpani or the Trang. This is the choice between authoritarian rhinos or literal bugmen that reproduce faster than India. I usually roll Umpani because we share a common bond in our attraction to anthropomorphic rhino girls. Siding with one of those lets you visit the local Wookiee embassy to have a look at their Chaos Malari. And by having a look at their Chaos Malari,
He seems like an honest, trusting guy, and those are my favorite kinds of people.
I mean snatching it in front of them, apologizing sincerely, and then replacing it with a knockoff glass bulb. Then you gotta find the Destiny Dominus, which is really the search for enlightenment. As the source of all knowledge in the universe, you find it naturally by consuming a lot of psilocybin, DMT, and ayahuasca. So you can project yourself to a higher plane of consciousness and talk with Joe Rogan. With all 3 Dragon Balls in your dragon sack, there's still the small matter of nuclear oblivion. So you gotta go up north and offer your sweet body to a goat demoness. This game was very progressive for its time because Alcedexis is fiercely heterosexual and rejects the very concept of scissoring. She also rejects the concept of monetizable content because her milk jugs are anything but modest. Anyway, to disarm the bomb, you have to get inside it. How? By breaking and entering into people's bedrooms, because, logically speaking, one of them is bound to have a direct access interdimensional portal into the bomb, which can be disabled by pressing random keys and getting lucky. With a bomb no longer armed, you smack the savant, leaving him disarmed. The savant dies, but in his death reveals to you the ultimate truth that he's been using a voice changer on Discord this whole time, and he's not actually that dark. The end. Any questions? No? Then in that case, welcome to Wizardry 8. I love this game. Now let's talk about playing it. To play, you need to make a party.
Wait, what the fuck did we just watch then?
If I said there's a lot of options, that would be
And also, why is this guy? Who is this guy
anything.
again?
Now let's talk about playing it. To play, you need to make a party.
Who is that guy that was before this one? We saw it
Characters you
yesterday
make
too.
yourself. If I said there's a lot of options, that would be an understatement. You can be anything you want to be. Humans, non-humans, subhumans,
Ash-
furries, scalies,
Ash
more
Orc?
furries,
Who the
and
fuck is
even
that?
short kings. There's so many short kings in this game, you can pick by your preferred size. Anything from 5'11" kings to a 5'10" pocket prince,
Makes
who
me
are so
usage.
light at this point they get carried away by the wind. Race. Is there a link between race and I? There's 11 races, and that's only including ones you can pick. There's about 16 in total. Do anything you want to do, and I mean it. I don't care how many classes your game has, because Wizardry 8 has 15, including, but not limited to, fighters, which fight, Valkyries, which fight using female privilege to avoid death, ninjas, which fight with the empty space representing their lack of contribution to the team until 2 weeks into the average game. However, if you rolled a fairy ninja, congratulations, because your pocket prince can now solo the entire game. Alchemist makes potions and breaks the economy by making infinite potions you can sell for infinite money, letting you buy everything in the entire game. 10 out of 10, working as intended. Gadgeteer, who uses an unconventional form of weaponry. A gun. But that's the
this
boring
guy
part.
Googles,
The interesting
alright.
part is
This guy
overloading a
has a lot
microwave in
of
the
bathroom
monastery,
breaks, I'll tell you
ripping
that.
out the microwave chip, and using it to
Googles
give your
most
enemies
broken
brain
things in
tumors.
Wizardry 8,
Gadgets are
and then he makes a
essentially
video
random
on it.
pieces of trash duct taped together to
There's no way he finds this
inexplicably
shit out
cause
himself.
widespread devastation. And if you think that sounds ridiculous, then let me tell you about the bard. In most games, a bard plays music, keeps up morale, and probably cooks and cleans for the party as well. In Wizardry 8, the droning melody of a bard's bagpipe brings pandemonium, the plucking of his harp causes cerebral hemorrhaging, and the blowing of his horn results in nuclear fallout.
Freezing.
Building the optimal six-man party is difficult. Explaining is difficult, and we don't have time. Here's my build. Follow it, copy it, enjoy it. It's very powerful, very well-rounded, and gives you a complete first experience of a game. By the way, this game's got a lot of voice dialogue,
I've got a surprise for you. Stand still so you can get it between the eyes.
and most of it comes from your own party.
I almost feel normal.
There's 18 different personalities for each gender.
There will be many implements of destruction at my disposal, yeah?
Which is 36 fully voiced personalities in total.
Yeah, slice 'em, dice 'em. No sense being nice to 'em. That's my motto.
And that's absolutely nuts. Now,
Are they
on to the
allowed to
fun
use
stuff.
his
I
face,
present
by
to you
the
all
way?
my current party.
Old
That's
haha,
right, I
old man
manually
haha.
imported all this to work inside the
hint
game.
at the
By the
story and
way,
stuff.
they're fully animated. The portraits,
I'm
not
pretty sure
even
it's
that
not
bad.
allowed
But
without his
manually
permission.
animating the eyes and mouth, yeah, that took a while. As our first fighter, we got Internet Historian.
This guy.
Physically, he's a giant. Mentally, he's...
Ah, a trap. I wonder what would happen if I just pulled this thing here.
He's very stable. Mr. Mandalore as our second fighter, whose voice I absolutely adore.
How exciting. I think I'm improving. Oh no. More people. They just keep coming. And coming. I'm getting stressed.
It's just so expressive. As our morally bankrupt, backstabbing, conniving, and scheming we got my man Uber Danger as a rogue, who sounds exactly as he does in real life.
I'd rather be recognized with cash, but a rise in status will do. Oh yeah, this is amazing. Nothing
boss.
special. Yeah, probably worthless. I'll just hang on to it for us. You go on and fight. I'll guard the rear.
For spellcasters, I put Frederick Knudsen as our resident psionic. There's nothing wrong with him. He's actually the most well-adjusted of the entire group.
Gotcha! I am glad to be alive again, though the stillness of death was not totally objectionable.
Also, I put him as female. Sorry, Fred baby, but the best jewelry in this game is for girls, and we need to min-max. Myself as the party's dark, brooding alchemist.
Ordinary men fear the power of darkness. I revel in it.
Who, over the course of the story, has been one-shot many times.
The dead guy. What was his name?
Thanks so very much. Why did you tear me from death's sweet embrace?
And finally, Ken Ashcorp as our local priest.
Be careful. I can't believe we're wasting time talking to a chipmunk!
Who's also completely unhinged. I did originally consider adding Pyrocynical to the team, but unfortunately, YouTube does not let me feature minors in this video. There's a lot to do in Wizardry. Explore amazing places, visit the swamp, catch malaria, climb a tree, get body blocked for hours by hamsters, go to the only functional city in the game with a grand total population of about 12 people, get harassed by Space Hitler and the androids of a Fourth Reich, head to the bar, get blackmailed, go to the bank, because of course it's still open, go to the airport, because why not? Because this is the one game where you can talk to a starship and tell it to go fuck itself. The dialogue system in this game is nothing short of amazing. You have to manually write down, memorize, and figure out the keywords for conversational topics you're interested in. The game will then try to identify your intent and produce you a fully voiced answer.
Amusing yourself, are you?
There's not many NPCs in this game, but I remember every single one of them. Whether it's the Umpani and their militaristic tendencies.
Oh, come on now, stupid thing. Get in there. Perfect. Oh no, oh no.
The slick-talking Don Barlone of Arazuka.
We keep our end of the deal, you know.
Stuart Little.
But he slips town before he pays our fee. So, we're here to collect. But he ain't gonna pay. That ain't a problem. We get our cash, and you get your prize. And the Dark Savant gets shafted.
Or even your own biological daughter, conceived as a result of sleeping around with demons, because their voice acting is absolutely fantastic. Some can even be convinced to join your party. Unfortunately, most of them are highly superstitious of their own planet, and won't go where you want them to.
You know what, boys? This place reminds me of a song I wrote called I Ain't Going There No Way, No How.
The workaround to this is running them to exhaustion with a heavy backpack, knocking them unconscious, and forcibly dragging them past the load screen. Once they wake up, they'll complain and bitch about this breach of consent, which is why people generally avoid them. Except RFS-81, who is the best boy, because, unlike everyone else, he's not programmed to be a bitch. Quests are also equally brilliant, until you get stuck, until you get frustrated and desperate enough to read the damn walkthrough instead. There's no shame in that, because I do it. And I finished the game twice. Some of my favorite quests include protecting a verified Twitter user from hateful comments online by crushing someone into meat paste after luring them in using the sweet aroma of a female girl, getting motion sickness from the mine tunnels, and of course retrieving the black box flight recorder of a crashed ship so you can triangulate the position of Space Hitler's ship and use a heavy surface-to-air battery to shoot him out of the sky.
3, 2, 1, firing.
Yeah, this game goes 0 to 100 real fast. Anyway, let's get back to something sensible, like using medieval weaponry to kill fantasy creatures. The biggest part of this game, from beginning to end, from the moment you wake up on that beach to the moment you pass out each day from exhaustion, is combat. This game has a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting. The hardest thing in this game is to simply walk unmolested through a short forest trail, which is physically impossible, because every step of the way you'll be harassed, molested, and physically assaulted by the entire regional populace. Should you survive your first experience of the great outdoors, you'll reach Arnica, the first city in the game. And don't worry, that's where I also let my guard down, sleeping with a door open, peeking out from a dusty window, only to catch a faint glimpse of moving pixels in your peripheral vision. I'm very sorry, but you're now in combat with the entire city, because even civilization is an unstoppable barrage of random encounters. To understand my frustration, here's an example. Previously, I have walked 5 meters on a tropical island, got jumped by crustaceans, walked 5 meters back because I realized I was going the wrong way, got jumped by more crustaceans, only to walk forward again and get jumped by the same group of crustaceans which have now respawned. This wouldn't be so bad if combat wasn't turn-based, but it is, and it's slow. This won't hit you immediately, but believe me, it will. And once it does, the following information will make sense. Hello, future viewer. Like you, I have also had a mental breakdown after watching combat animations for many hours, so I I've installed the Wizardry 8 speed mod to quicken animations. I'm running Wiz 8 fast at 625 times speed, and I'm simultaneously speed hacking the game with Cheat Engine at free time speed. And it's still slow, but don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean combat is easy. It's absolutely the opposite. It's sadistically hard. It doesn't care, and it's going to keep beating you until you break.
She was a saint! A saint!
Sure, you can put down the difficulty. You're still gonna get shredded by the 10+ juggernauts that just came out of camouflage. The only way to avoid dismemberment is to play intelligently. This game is a constant battle of overwhelming odds versus your own capacity to game the system. To charge the juggernauts is suicide. They swing potentially 3 times a turn, and they're not stupid. They're gonna surround you, flank you, and hack your spellcasters to pieces. Positioning is important. Instead of charging, we herd them into a choke point. Their numbers become worthless, and we reduce the fight into a glorified meat grinder. And that's not hyperbole.
That's kind of
Enemies get visibly wounded the more you hurt them. It provokes a very Pavlovian response, as I
it's
get
like
satisfaction
Heroes
from seeing whatever has
in first
inconvenienced
person,
me get reduced to
right?
a bloody pulp. Other times,
that's
I'm
what it
like,
reminds me
Jesus
of.
fucking Christ! Please
The combat system.
stop. Just put him out of
You have
his
like
misery, as
you have
I'm
a certain
beating
walk
bandit so
amount.
hard that we've ripped the very skin off his face.
You can
and his
position
soul is
yourself so that
visibly
you
poking
don't get
through the
surrounded.
flesh. Tactics are important. Your fighters do most of the damage. Your mages control the battlefield. Why deal with a crowd when you can make the crowd insane and
He's got a
kill
move
each other in
counter.
a psychotic rage? And if that doesn't work, paralyze them, curse them, give them topical dermatitis, make them throw up, and induce nausea. You know the best way to stop an animal attack? Diarrhea. Because it's very hard to focus on anything when your ass is exploding. However, any status that affects enemies can affect you as well. And you'll find it's very hard for your party to focus when they're in the process of getting vored and digested by wild animals.
Something's different, but I can't put my finger on it.
Luckily, combat is extremely rewarding. You only have to win a couple of fights appropriate to your level to level up. With that comes increased stats, skills, and spells to expand your options. Also, the game gets harder. Early game might be spent on the verge of death, but given time, you'll find that this is a constant state of tension, except you're no longer afraid of it. Instead, you'll learn to enjoy it, and even revel in the act as you realize you're quite good at it. I do, however, have some critique. 1. Traps. Traps are randomized, and one of them stole 90% of my current assets. Philosopher's Bane turns your gold into lead, and I forgot to quick save. On the other hand, my critique is also praised, because traps are a perfect example of how goddamn good the sound design is in this game. First, you gotta tumble around to try and guess the mechanism. Next, you need to try and disarm them one at a time. Listen to this. The sound is so goddamn crispy that you can physically feel the tension as your rogue fiddles with the machinery, which can snap at any given moment. Good God, I love it. Just remember to save. 2. Lockpicking. Lockpicking is not based. It is cringe. It is an endless hell of clicking tumblers to make them rise, only to watch the rest fall as you persist in your futile struggle. Which is why I strongly recommend you use earth magic to magically hold the tumblers, because otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. 3. Pickpocketing. Don't even bother, because it's fucking broken. No one's really sure how it works, but you can't save scum, and the responses are hard-coded. It's actually almost creepy. I once pickpocketed an NPC 5 times with the same negative outcome, only to reload the quick save and discover that the NPC was missing, or rather that they were deleted from my save file, as if to send me a message. I know this sounds like I'm losing it, and you don't have to believe me, because I managed to record the whole thing. 4. Other weird shit that happens. I used to think you couldn't alt-tab out of this game, because alt-tabbing breaks the keyboard. Turns out it doesn't. You just have to...
You know your stream is dead when you only have 7,000 viewers while reacting. 7K and below.
Then I reduced the surface area of my fist, smashed keys at random until, through order of elimination, found the secret combination. This game has several features on the level of esoteric knowledge. That is to
I like
say,
that.
nobody
They counter
knows shit.
the
Wizardry
save
is
scummers
absolutely
by
fantastic.
deleting
Yes,
NPC.
there's annoying bullshit to deal with, but hey, hey, it's almost 2
That's
decades old and
very
released in
rare
less than ideal
nowadays.
circumstances. That's why there's still a fucking hardware advert that pops up whenever you try and close the game, because the publisher was broke and the developer was about to be. So they had to shill out by advertising higher FPS in a turn-based RPG where FPS doesn't matter. On the other hand, holy shit, that advert aged well. They still exist to this very day. Pre-built computers? Now that's a future-proof business model, not some turn-based PTSD simulator that blew its entire poly count on jiggle physics. This game will try to break you. It'll spit in your mouth, call you names, and crush your self-esteem. But if you persist, that's when real satisfaction kicks in. When you're no longer at the mercy of its bullshit. It's the feeling of control. And let me tell you, it is an all-encompassing, intoxicating sensation. I give Wizardry 8 an extremely high score. I also give it 80% off on GOG, because I have that power. All this for about $2. If it sounds like something you'd enjoy, give it a try. An average playthrough will run you anywhere between 100 to 150 hours of game time.
Jesus
and given the vast
Christ,
range
dude.
of builds and character classes, it is very much replayable, preferably with breaks of several years in between. As always, more content to come, so stay
150
tuned. A warm
fucking
thanks to the
hours.
many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one, stay safe,
I wonder
and
how
please
many of these
enjoy
like
the credits.
old
He seems like a
shite
kind,
games he hasn't
generous
played
soul.
by now, right?
I hate him.
What do you want? If it walks, I can change that.
I'm burning to kill.
You gotta admire the guy. He didn't let a little thing like being dead slow him down one bit.
So now I'm a Templar Rapax. All my childhood dreams have come true.
Oh, great! Swimming! I hate swimming! I didn't come a million miles to get all
Alright. I mean, it needs to play on hardcore or no balls. Hardcore is new meta. My thorough buddy cash rash. It's Blizzard Sector Sand.